Hello and welcome to Sunday Run Day, the podcast. On this week's episode, I'm joined by Gerardo, who is joining us to talk about his running journey, but also about the Redfern Run Club up in Sydney. I'm excited to hear more about it. So, first of all, Gerardo, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Clint. Thanks for having me and giving me the opportunity to talk about my running life, my journey, and Redfern Run Club.
No, I'm super excited to hear more about it. So, I guess to start off a little bit, we'll talk about the Redfern Run Club. So, what inspired you to start the run club there up in Sydney?
I've been running for a good part of 20 years. Been very sporty since I was a little kid. When I moved to Sydney about 13 years old ago, I kind of moved into the running community very quickly, met a lot of incredible humans, and it became kind of my way to build community. I did it at university when I was doing my master's degree. Um, and I've done so many running races around Australia, in the Blue Mountains, down in Melbourne as well. So it's been a huge part of my life. Um, but when COVID hit, like many others, running became even more important part of my life for mental health uh, kind of point of view or perspective. And I often found myself running by myself. And I felt like I needed to spend more time with others, kind of start building that sense of community around me. Don't get me wrong, I have like a very amazing group of friends. I'm a dad. And with my wife, we have an amazing community around us, but I always felt like I had the opportunity to build a community around running around in my life. So I started looking for run clubs around the area and didn't really find anything kind of walking distance to my place in Redfern. So at the end of last year, I decided to kind of take it into my own hands, and I started a very simple Instagram page. Message some of my running mates that live around and say, "Look, I'm thinking about doing this. Come and join me for a run." That was at the end of October 2025, and we're 4 months into Redfern Run Club, and now we get somewhere between 15 to 20 runners every Friday morning, which is an incredible kind of show of how people feel about running in the area. Every time we get new people, they express how much they were looking for something like this. We also run a an evening run on a monthly basis. We go all the way up to Centennial Park. That's a 7K loop, and then we end up having a few beers at the Redfern Hotel. So it's everything's very community driven. Everyone lives around, and yeah, it's becoming a very beautiful part of the community. It's kind of we're spreading around the suburb. People are starting to talk about us, which is great, and we can talk more about the impact I'm starting to see when I talk to runners.
And I love that. And yeah, well done as well for going out and saying, like, you know what, I want to bring something to the community. It's just, we're going out running, and sometimes, as you say, we run on our own quite a bit sometimes, and it is a bit of an individual sport. But to have that as a community and go and try and build on that community and be like, you know what, I want to have something that is really community focused and bringing people together. And you brought people around, and it's great that you're having people turn up on a Friday morning and turn out there and going out for a run and just building that community and getting new runners in. That's just absolutely amazing. And I guess it'll lead on to a little bit of, as you were talking about there, describing how the culture is at the run club, the fact that you are meeting up with these people, bringing the community together, and then going out and having a coffee or having a beer after a run. So yeah, just talk a little bit more about sort of the culture that you're really building there.
Yeah, look, I think very from the very start, from my side, I was very intentional in making sure that it was not a like highly competitive environment or like catered for people who are looking to like go for a PB every Friday morning. If you want to do that, that's great. We have a few runners that we start and they are off, and then we catch up at coffee at the end. That's fine. Like we don't judge. But from the very beginning, I was very intentional about making it a safe space for anyone. If you're an experienced runner, if you're training for a special event, or if you're never run and you're getting started into the sport, you have a place in Redfern Run Club. We as a group started growing. We very quickly identified kind of pacing squads.
Yeah.
So we know there's a group that will always run around 6:10 per k. Others will run a little bit faster, and it kind of self organizes now. And that gives us or allows us the opportunity to, every time we have someone new, we ask them, how fast do you want to go? There's no judgment. If you're going in this specific pace, you can join this specific group. And the other side of this, which is, I think I'm just very lucky by the initial group that joined, is that everyone's so nice and so welcoming. I kind of unintentionally really build this group of humans around me that kind of take ownership, if that's the right way to say it, like take ownership on maybe recruiting more people or welcoming new people that are coming on a specific day. And even though they're not kind of associated directly with the run club, they very much feel it like it's their own, and they're there every week. They help me with, in case, like, if I can make it a specific week, they're there, they support it. And I think it's a really good reflection of what the culture is like. It's that very centric, like community centric vibe that we're trying to build. We're getting more people, as I said before, in the community starting to reach out, small businesses talking to us about how they can get involved. And we try to keep everything very community centric. We prioritize like local partners on top of others. So that's how we operate today. And that is the culture that we're trying to continue to build. And hopefully that will pay off because we really want to be like that run club in the area that everyone can relate to. There's a space for everyone and everyone feels safe.
That's great. And I love what you were talking about there as well, about wanting to keep it really community based and community centric, of, working with, local businesses, local community, and building on that and having that really built around a community. I think it's so amazing because I think running itself is such a community. We're all out there, we're all cheering each other on, we all want to see everyone succeed. But to have that safe space where people want to come to a run club and meet new people and just enjoy it. And that's what it's about. We have that enjoyment from running. We have those moments where we challenge ourselves and we want to obviously push ourselves, but to have the enjoyment from running and to have that in a community, it's great. And you're building something really special around Redfern. I love that, as you say, talking to other communities, members, and building them in. And also the fact that your people that turn up every week are wanting to build that as well, and building on it. You've got attracted the same like-minded people that love
Yeah.
running, love community. That's fantastic. I really do love that.
Correct. Yeah, I think I feel like when people come show up for the first time, that's the vibe they get from everyone at the club. Like that, no pressure, no judgment, and they feel very comfortable in that environment, and that's why they stay with us. I think that's why they come week on week.
Yeah, it's great, as you say, to feel comfortable in the environment and to keep coming back. So
Yeah.
describe a normal run club day then. We've got the Friday morning run club, and obviously once a month we've got the evening one. So what would be a normal day for new people that maybe listening and go like, yeah, I'm in the area, I want to join the run club. What would a normal day look like at Redstone Run Club?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So we meet next to Redfern Station on the South Everly side of the station on six on at 6:15 a.m. And then we do a little warm up. We wait for everyone to arrive. The Friday mornings are 5K loop around Redfern, South Everly. We go all the way up to Erskинeville and back. And then we finish at South Everly. There is a beautiful coffee kind of outside area, coffee a cafe called Yoho Loco. We've been going there for months now. They know us very well. They're ready for us on a Friday morning. The barista is Colombian, actually, like myself, and he's ready with the coffee beans freshly grinded, ready for the group. There's music playing outside, so people really look forward for that post run coffee experience.
Yeah.
um, we catch up about work. We are at a point now where we pretty much know each other, so we talk about someone's person, like what did you do on the weekend. I remember you told me this, right? Like the community is starting to build, and the relationships are getting stronger when someone new comes in. We As we start the run, we tell them where the cafe is in case someone gets lost. Even though we have people making sure that everyone's in a group,
Yeah.
sometimes someone kind of takes the wrong turn or whatever. They know where we meet at the end for coffee. So by 6:45, 7 a.m., everyone's at the cafe, sweating, with like all the adrenaline from the run, like kicking in, super happy, high fives, and grabbing a coffee. We stick around for like 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes people have to rush out for work. Others work from home, and it's easier for them to stick a little bit longer. And by 7:30, 7:45, that's it. Everyone's back at home, ready for the Friday morning kind of start of the day, back to work.
No, it was a great start to the day, as you say. Yeah, get to meet up, do go for a warm up, have a nice 5K loop, and then to finish off, as you say, yeah, the coffee. We all love a good coffee after a run, an early morning run.
The
So
best.
yeah, well, what better way of doing it than a lovely coffee shop? And that's just fantastic. I love that, and I love what you're building there at Redfern. I'm hoping to go from strength to strength. So obviously, before we get on to your running journey a little bit, the last thing about Redfern Run Club. What's the envision? What's the plans moving forward for the rest of the year? What would you really like to build at Redfern?
Look, I think we would love the for the club to continue to grow, to continue to be that safe space where people can come, meet others. One of the main reasons, as I shared before, why I thought starting a run club would be a good idea is that we're going through all these like loneliness epidemic. People feel lonely because they don't have access to the same resources or the same level of connection they had prior to COVID, because more people are working remotely or hybrid. Some of the stories that I've heard from people that are at Run Club kind of um, uh, tell me this is true, like firsthand anecdotes of how people are feeling
Yeah.
lonely. Some people are moving from other countries, and Sydney is there, or are in Sydney for the first time, and they don't have a social group. So what I would love for Redfern Run Club to become is that place where if you're new to the area, you can, even if you don't have experience running, you can come, meet others, build that sense of community, realize that you're not alone, that it's really actually really simple to spend some time with others and build those connections. That is what I would love to see in a few years. That people kind of identify us, or when they think about Redfern Run Club, is that place of beautiful connections. I don't have to spend my Friday mornings alone. I want to go and think about next week, looking forward to go back. So that's the goal in essence.
No, and I love that. And I think, yeah, you're doing the right things, and fingers crossed there you'll start progressing more and more. And people will see that, and having that community and coming on a Friday morning, you're not by yourself. You can come out and join a group of people. You're going out there getting some great exercise in there. You're going for a little 5K run, and then you get to meet people at the end. And as you say, building on that, of meeting so many different people, like you touched on there as well, of people work on so many different things, and we work remotely as well now, so it's nice to have that connection of being able to sit down, talk to someone, and maybe, yeah, you might even meet someone that you know about another job, and you can connect in different ways, not only just with the run club and talking about maybe races and events you're doing, but
Yep.
connecting as well with, with work as well. So I think that's amazing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more from Redfern Run Club. And I, for one, when I'm up in Sydney, anytime I'll be there, I'll jump along and see you guys at Redfern. It'll be really cool to.
Welcome. Yeah, you're more than welcome to join us any Friday or one of our evening runs if that fits better.
No, definitely. So then touching on a little bit about your running journey. We talked a little bit just before we started recording and mentioned that your first marathon was last year in Sydney. So before we talk about Sydney Marathon itself, would you like to share a little bit about your running journey leading up to Sydney?
Yeah, so as I shared when we started our conversation, I've been very sporty all of my life. I grew up in Colombia playing football like most Colombian kids. I played football or soccer in a very competitive level back home when I was in high school. And my identity was very much associated with sports. My dad was in the army. We moved cities every couple of years, and every time I started a new school or joined a or ended up in a new city, my way of connecting with other kids was through a football. And I was always known as the guy that plays football really well. Like that was the way I um, connected with others. And football has a beautiful, very special place in my heart, and it will always be that way. Um, in 2011, right before I moved to Sydney, actually, I was working for an advertising agency. And one of our this was back in Colombia. One of our clients was the Department of Defense, so the all the or the Ministry of Defense, similar kind of category. And they had put together a charity run for Army veterans. This was a 5K run, and because they were our clients, they reached out to us and they said, like, we have some free entries. Why don't you come and join us on the day? And I was sure. Like, I play football pretty much every weekend. I'm super fit. I can go and do this, no issues. Showed up on the day, struggled like crazy. I struggled so much. I couldn't finish the whole 5Ks without stopping and getting some air. It was a really interesting way for me to realize that it's a very different sport to what I had been doing all of my life. So after that, I was like, okay, I need to at least run 5Ks without feeling like I'm gonna throw up and end up in in the back of an ambulance. So slowly started training for it. In Colombia, we have a space on Sunday mornings where some of the major city streets close for cars,
Yeah.
and it becomes all pedestrian. It's called ciclovia. So it's a very incredible way for people, even for tourists, to kind of get to know the city by foot. So I every Sunday morning I was going out trying to get better at running, and I very slowly fell in love with running. By the end of 2012 or 2013, when I moved to Australia, I was like running 10Ks and I was pretty fast. Started joining more competition, like more run races, and it just became I just became very addicted to the running. I know you and people listening will associate with that. It's funny because I always saw runners. I remember being like in the car or something and seeing a runner. I'd be like, oh, that's so boring. Who would do that? Who would kind of willingly go for a run? That's crazy. And
Yeah.
now I understand. I understand why. Yeah, so that's how I got into it. So that was it's been what, almost 15, 16 years that I've been into running. When I got to Australia, it became more formal because I started doing like proper 10Ks. I slowly graduated into half marathons. I've done I don't know, maybe like 10 or 15 halves, and every time I finish one, I was like, this is it. Like, I'm never gonna run more than half a marathon. I don't know who is crazy enough to keep going and enjoy that.
Yeah.
Um, so last year, I don't know how it happened, but I got an email from the organizers of the Sydney Marathon. It had just become one of the world majors. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to enter the ballot. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, what are the chances of getting in? Right. And, and, and ended up getting an entry. I was like, oh, holy crap. Okay. I need to start training for this. And I spent the whole year training for it. Pretty changed my diet a lot to accommodate for it. Did proper strength training, which I had never done before, and yeah, ended up doing the Sydney Marathon at the end of August, and it was an incredible experience, and so much so that I decided to try to get in again, and I was one of the lucky few who got an entry this year, so I'm gonna do it again.
No, that's awesome, and thank you so much for sharing your journey and your story. I love
Mm.
that as well. And there's a lot of similarities with myself. Like growing up in the UK, played a lot of football, obviously soccer, and yeah, that was my life as well. Until I got into running, and then very much the same as you. I 100% thought I'd never run a marathon. Thought it was crazy to go further than, say, 10Ks at the time was really my distance. And then
Yeah.
here we are now running marathons and signing up for more. So that's amazing. So touching a little bit about Sydney Marathon then, it was such an amazing experience. I was very fortunate enough to be running with my wife as well last year in Sydney
Oh, that's
and had
great.
an amazing experience. How was the experience for you? Obviously, your first marathon on home soil in Sydney. And then obviously, I always talk about it quite a lot because I think it's just absolutely amazing. The finish in front of the Opera House is just incredible. How was the whole experience for you?
Oh, it was a roller coaster of emotions. Obviously, very excited the days prior. I actually before that I had a knee injury around June. So that slowed me down a little bit, and I had to come accommodate for that. But found a really good physio who helped me through the process, and I was feeling really strong and ready for the event in August. Having the whole running community here in Sydney was incredible. Like going to the ICC for the expo and like seeing all these incredible superstars, like all the people we watch on Instagram reels and videos. It was just out of this world. So that was amazing. The day of the run, I was really really nervous. I didn't know if I was gonna actually finish it because I had never run the distance, right? My longest runs training for it were probably like 32Ks, 35Ks maybe. Um, so all I was thinking about was like I don't want to hit the wall. I just want to make sure that even if it takes me, I don't know, 5 hours, I want to finish this and I want to finish it in the less painless way possible. So started really strong, and probably around the 25th 30K mark, I started feeling the pain, but it was manageable, like nothing crazy. By the time I got to Centennial Park, I started to feel the struggle and slowing down. Your mind starts playing tricks and starts telling you to stop. Like, what are you doing? You don't need to finish this. Like, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just slow down or just walk. It's gonna be so great, right? Like, there's no more pain. Um, as I was leaving Centennial Park, I will never forget this. There was someone with a megaphone and some signs, and he was saying, keep running, don't listen to the voice inside your head." And that got in my head. I was like, oh my God, that is exactly what I needed to hear right now. And that only got me all the way back into the city where my wife and my two daughters were waiting for me next to the to St. Mary's Cathedral, and I knew
Yeah.
they were waiting for me. So I was just making sure I got there. When I saw them, I kind of started crying. I was so tired, so emotional. And they had signs, and they had the cowbells, and that really seeing them there really helped me push all the way till the end. My goal at that point was not to stop. I was like, I don't want to stop. If I stop, it's going to be really hard for me to get back into it. So I just kept running. I was going a bit slower back then, but I managed to finish it nonstop. Yeah, it was an incredible experience, and I know it's gonna be hard again when I do it this year, but I'm ready. I'm preparing for it, and I just wanted that emotional roller coaster. I want to feel that emotional roller coaster again because it was beautiful. Like you said, finishing next to the opera house when you're going down the street and you see the harbor and people are cheering. I don't think there's anything so beautiful as a runner to see that, right? Like that's something any runner would envy in the world if they got to see that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing. Like it's such a great to hear from your experience as well, running your first marathon, being in Sydney, and yeah, having those moments of someone on their megaphone just telling you something that at that time you just needed to hear that, and it got you
Yeah.
going. And then having that such a beautiful moment with your wife and your two daughters there, that would have been so surreal. Just in that moment, giving you that energy just to push through and get to the finish line. And then here we are. You sign up all again to go through it, and yeah, looking forward to this year's Sydney Marathon, and excited to see how it goes for you with the whole year of training. But yeah, thanks for sharing that story, and it's just fantastic to hear that experience.
Thank you. Will you be running Sydney this year?
Yes, me and my wife will be again in Sydney this year, so
Oh,
we're lucky as well. We were one of the lucky ones to be able to get through
how
into the
good.
ballot, and yeah, we're excited to do Sydney again. It's for me, it's such an incredible run. As I said, I think they've run Sydney a couple of years ago, before it was a major, and I think yeah, last year they've just done an amazing job of just
Mm,
the whole community. As you talked about there, the running community of Sydney is very big now, and it's really amazing. And to have those points where there was just so much support, and yeah, it was just fantastic to be there in Sydney, and certainly yeah, looking forward to it again. And
yeah.
yeah, being, as I said, that finish line I think is super iconic. I think for many people, that I've said it on the show before, if anyone's really thinking about running one of the majors, the finish in Sydney is a tough run, it's a tough course, it is very hilly, but the finish definitely makes it worth it.
100%. It's you go through the pain, but once you see the finish line and the opera house, nothing else like it. It's just such a beautiful feeling. Nothing else matters.
Yeah, definitely. It's just that moment of just nothing else matters at all, as you say, and just enjoying that moment of finishing, as you say, your first marathon. And now you'll be moving on to the second marathon. So first of all, I'd like to just thank you very much for taking the time out to join the show and sharing, the insight into the Redfern Run Club. And then, as I say, for anyone listening, jump online, check them out. And if you're in the area, any stage, as I say, for people traveling around Sydney, jump down and see Gerardo and the team at Redfern and enjoy a nice run and coffee with them. And then, also, thank you for sharing your running story as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Sydney when I visit, and definitely for the marathon. Looking forward to seeing your second marathon in Sydney.
Please, when you're in Sydney, let me know. We'll go grab a coffee or a beer. Definitely go for a run. Always welcome at Redfern Run Club. And thank you again for the space. Thank you for letting me share my journey and the Run Club's journey as well. It's a privilege. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. That's it from this week. And as always, until next time, happy running.